Hello and welcome to today's Wednesday Wellness. Today is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. And today is a very special Wednesday Wellness edition. So lots of new people here today. This is an open to the public Wednesday Wellness where I wanted to extend this community opportunity to our friends and neighbors, anybody who is feeling overwhelmed and outraged and maybe depressed and feeling very helpless about what's going on in our world. I didn't want to let this moment go by without acknowledging that this is causing quite a bit of collective trauma in our world and in our country, and to those of us who are following the events that are happening in our nation and in our world. I'm going to say this has been quite a tumultuous year. This 2025 was, I'm going to say, a dumpster fire in so many ways and in so many places all around the world. And to all those who have been directly affected, you are in our hearts. And that is a big reason why we are gathering today, because this is a lot of mental and emotional stress and trauma. And because my focus with the Inflammation Academy is all about how inflammation is bad for our bodies. Chronic inflammation and stress is a driver of inflammation. You may realize that. And when you have this unresolved emotional collective, I'm going to say everybody is dealing with this right now, trauma, that can really clog up our um, pathways of releasing toxicities, not only physical molecules of toxicities, but that emotional toxicity that comes from holding it all in. So, really, today, I just had a couple of simple um, goals for this session today. And I want to start off first with giving everyone a few very simple breath work exercises to help release that feeling of internal agitation, maybe is a good way to say it. It is so hard to watch the news at night. For myself, too, I have found that whereas I used to be a news junkie, it's very hard for me to even turn on and pay attention to the news, and for my own emotional health and sanity, I have to really restrict how much news I take in, because it just seems like one horrific thing happening after another that honestly never seemed like it could happen in this country. And I'm in the US. I don't know where everyone else is coming from today or who will be watching this in the future, but this doesn't feel like the country that I was raised to believe that it is. And it makes me nervous for not only my friends and neighbors and fellow citizens and fellow residents in this country who are here right now, but for the future of our world, really, our entire world and our country, the future that my children are growing up into, that they will um, be members of as they come into adulthood. They have both told me, my children individually, that they don't want to ever have children to bring them up into this world. And I feel for where they're coming from. Um, it feels so outrageous, so hopeless, so much despair, and it's very easy to sink into a depression, even just talking about it today. So today's session today's Wednesday wellness session, which I should add is something that I hold every other week, just about, for the members of the Inflammation Academy. This is a virtual community and clinic that you can come be a part of. It's very affordable, and you can join us. You can come to our Wednesday wellness sessions every other week or so, come in and receive guidance and thoughtful um, commentary on health and health issues, and particularly inflammation, right? On how things that you can do can reduce that inflammation that leads to chronic disease and dysfunction and pain and disability. Um, so there's a lot of different levels in the Inflammation Academy. You can go to theinflammationacademy.com to learn more about that. But if you are just interested in coming into the Wednesday Wellness, we call that support or membership. That's our kind of foundational level. Not only does it give you access to these Wednesday wellness sessions with me, but you also get access to my online portal and environment, which gives you lots of anti-inflammatory recipes and videos and cooking demonstrations and lots of resources and handouts for living an anti-inflammatory life. Okay, so back to our kind of heavy topic today. Let's start with some breath work exercises. The maybe easiest breath work exercise to think about and remember is called 4-7-8 breathing. This is something I learned about from Dr. Andrew Weil, 20 years ago or something. I don't even know what he's up to these days, but I was a follower of his for a long time back in the day. And I find this very helpful for all kinds of situations, um, especially when you feel that you can't get control of yourself or your life or events around you. So it's called 4-7-8 breathing. You inhale for 4 counts, you hold it for 7 counts, and then you exhale for 8 counts. So this technique or this pattern supports the parasympathetic system and down regulates stress related genetic activity. So there's a lot of benefits to doing this, and I'm going to say there are no downsides. So let's try it together. Going to breathe in for the count of 4. We're going to hold it for the count of 7. And then we're going to exhale for the count of 8. Okay. Are we ready? Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it again. Inhale. 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time together. Inhale. 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How did that feel? I feel more relaxed myself. Hopefully you do too. This is something you can do in your car while you're standing in line. It is a very easy and accessible rebalancing, grounding um, breathing technique that you can employ anywhere at any time as often as you need to. Sometimes I find I use it when I'm lying in bed trying to fall asleep. That can be very helpful then too. Okay, so let's go to my next technique here for dealing with this collective trauma. And this is a loving kindness meditation. You may have experienced this kind of meditation somewhere else before. It's very easy, but it helps your mind settle down and buffer the impacts of stress. So, really, the way that I practice loving kindness meditation, and I like to close my eyes when I do it, but that's completely up to you, is to literally be still and silent and close my eyes and focus on my heart, visualizing sending out rays, and for me, it's yellow, rays of yellow light to everything around me. And I start with what is closest to me. I'm sending out yellow rays of light. Right now, for me, I'm sending it out to the memory of my little puppy who recently passed. And then once I feel those rays of yellow light, I expand my vision of where I am reaching with my yellow rays of light coming from my heart. And I visualize those yellow rays moving through my household, then through my neighborhood, and then through my city, and then through my country, and then really through the entire world. The goal is to bring yourself into that frequency of love and happiness, and then spread that frequency out beyond what you can see and what you can feel. Sounds a little woo-woo, but actually, loving kindness meditation has been scientifically studied and validated, and it really helps and it works. And if you are around other people and you do it together, you can often feel those vibrations by being in a collective space. So, loving kindness meditations, one of my favorite ways to kind of calm the nervous system. The third strategy or technique that I want to share with you today is called grounding. And grounding literally means connecting with the earth. And it's very easy to do. The easiest way to do it is to literally go outside and best in bare feet, but you can do it in shoes and to be on the ground. I like to often just kind of sit on the grass in a park or in my yard or hug a tree, right? Because trees go into the ground, but you can do it sitting at your desk in front of your computer. So to do a grounding, you visualize, it's best if you have your feet on the floor, and you visualize your feet growing roots down into the ground. And you picture those roots going down and connecting with the earth and all of the network of roots that are underneath the surface that we can't even see, grounding with the energy and the vibrations of the earth. Believe it or not, this actually has been scientifically studied as well. In fact, um, there were studies done, I think during, I want to say the Civil War, of soldiers who were injured in battle. the soldiers who were up on cots versus the soldiers who were bedded on the ground because there weren't enough cots for all the injured. And it turned out that those soldiers who were on the ground actually healed faster than the ones who were lifted up onto cots. And they have realized that this was from grounding, from being in connection with the vibration, the frequency of the earth. There is vibration everywhere around us, right? If we think about Einstein's big equation, E equals mc squared, that means basically that we are all energy. We think of ourselves as solid, as mass, but we are made up of atoms. We are made up of molecules, and each molecule is made up of atoms. And each atom is bound together by a vibration, by a frequency. There's no solid connections between us. And if we were to go to the submicroscopic level, we would be able to go between the atoms because there's actually nothing physical holding the atoms together. It's all energy. We are vibrational beings. This computer is a vibrational being. This desktop is vibrational, even though it feels solid because the vibrations between the atoms are moving so slowly that it feels solid. But in actuality, every single thing, everything is is made up of atoms that are connected to each other through vibrations. If you can think of back to your high school chemistry class where we learned H2O, right? And we would draw it on the chalkboard, one H and then two O's for one hydrogen atom and two oxygen atoms. And then we would draw lines in between them to indicate how these three atoms connected together to create a water molecule. Those lines, those are just drawings. There's not actually lines. The bonds are vibrations, they're energy, they're frequency. Okay, so that's like our metaphysical lecture for today. So I want to kind of close this out by talking about um, some solid, some not solid. Now I'm mixing all my metaphors. Some concrete actions that you can take to that might help feel less helpless in this time of uncertainty. So there are things you can do. So I am going to read some things from a list compiled by The Contrarian on Substack, and you can take from it what you will. So one thing you can do is you can write to your congresspeople and ask them to keep up the fight for justice and liberty for everyone who is entitled to it, which is everyone really in this country who is not incarcerated for a crime, but certainly all sorts of immigrants who traditionally have been welcomed into our world and who have made such an enormous contribution to our country. I don't know about everyone listening, but I am the grandchild of immigrants, and probably most of us are. Unless you are Native American, then you were not here first. None of us were. We are all just interlopers on this land. You can support a nurses' strike. We have nurses striking all over the country. These are people doing good things and deserve to be recognized for that. One of the things that I like to do is I like to actually show my face at some of the protests against ICE. There are ICE protests going on all over the nation at different times. I know last weekend I saw lots of protests in Los Angeles and other parts of California. Certainly Minnesota is having huge ICE protests. You can go to standwithminnesota.com and find out how you can support those folks out there. Um, we're having another big, I don't know if it's a women's march or a No Kings rally. I can't remember which one it is on March 28th. So you can mark your calendar for that. I have to say, I love this non-centralized way of protesting that we have come to now, where you can literally protest in your neighborhood. You don't have to go to a big city. You don't have to um, deal with downtown and parking and all of those things. I see people protesting on the streets near my house all the time and making their voices heard and known. Rumby has a question. What do you do or say when people are shaming you for protecting your well-being first and doing what you can fight when you are able to? I'm sorry people are shaming you for that. I am against shaming people in general. I think shame is a very destructive um, method of control. However, I think that you have to think of it like the instructions on an airplane. You put your oxygen mask on first, and then you turn to help those around you. You cannot help anyone if you cannot move yourself. If you yourself are incapacitated, how can you be of help to others? The best way that you can help others and our country is to take care of yourself and make sure that you maintain your sanity and your strength and your health um, while doing what you can to help others. I hope that that made sense, but um, if not, please go ahead and throw that in the chat again. Um, but I do think that helping others doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It means making yourself the strongest and the best that you can be to be a helper in the movement. I'm not going to say a soldier because I don't like that kind of military and masculine um, framing of life. But I think that um, you have to you have to help yourself so that you can help others. You are not doing any good for anyone when you're lying in bed with the shades drawn because you're so incapacitated by emotion or physical issues. And do ask for what my website is. My main website is elizabethyarnell.com, and you can pretty much get to anything else I do from there. Again, the Inflammation Academy is theinflammationacademy.com. You can get there from elizabethyarnell.com too. So that's always the best place to get there. I have free Q&A calls that I host on a regular basis that you can sign up for, um, that you can always come in and ask any questions and see if there's anything that I can offer to help you. And again, I offer these Wednesday wellness sessions just about every other week. It's twice a month, and they are not normally open to the public, but today is a special day because I just felt drawn to talk about these very difficult issues. Um, okay, I think that's all I wanted to say today. Mark your calendars for the next, I guess it is a No Kings protest on March 28th. And take heart. Send a note to your congresspeople if you can. That's kind of an easy thing to do. Um, they take emails. You can leave even a voicemail and hold on to your community. And remember, we are in this together and we will come out of this together. Take those 4, 7, 8 breaths, calm yourself and focus. We'll get through this. Thank you all so much for being here today. It means so much to me, and I am welcoming you into this community. So thank you for coming, and I hope that I see you all again very soon. Have a great day.